Welcome to Vegas, the city of illusions and emptiness. How ironic that a place that once attracted nearly 42 million visitors annually is now struggling with a wave of rejection from the very people who once loved it. There was a time when Las Vegas was an endless paradise. Dazzling neon lights, casinos open day and night, and streets always filled with vibrant sounds. This place is called the place where the house always wins. But ironically, today this very city suffered a crushing defeat. The empty hotel was like a haunted castle. The casino is locked down, silent behind doors that were once bustling. And the tourists, they cancelled their plane tickets, dragged their suitcases out, and vowed never to return here again. Vegas was once the promise of an American dream shining in the darkness, where anyone could find a little magic. But as the number of visitors plummeted, as revenue figures only evoked regret, a harsh truth emerged. Las Vegas was on the brink of collapse. In today's video, we'll uncover the true picture of Vegas, where tourism is no longer a sweet dream but has turned into a nightmare. This is not just the story of an entertainment city, but also a wake-up call. How quickly an American dream can be erased if this reality continues. If Vegas were a Hollywood movie, and the casinos were the main characters, the story in the final act is veering towards an unhappy ending. Against the backdrop of million-dollar billboards and mirror-like hotel glass, long halls appeared cold and unbelievably empty. The city that once thrived on dreams of grand victories now seems to be fading into an endless nightmare. The lights are still on, but the human presence is dwindling. There was a time when the Strip was bustling day and night. Long lines of people queued in front of the Bellagio, Caesar's Palace, or MGM Grand. The clatter of slot machines filled the air, dealers dealt cards as fast as a dance, and crowds erupted when someone hit the jackpot. It feels like the whole city is caught up in a fever of luck and chance. Today, that scene is thin and sparse, leaving behind strange gaps, like abandoned houses with the lights still on. According to data from CDC gaming reports, revenue from casinos on the Strip decreased by approximately 4% compared to the same period last year. One number isn't enough to shake the big players, but it's enough to signal underlying cracks. Neon lights still shine every night, and CEOs still easily close millions of dollars from the super-rich customer group that makes up only 1% of the total, as they focus on concentrating resources on the few whales. However, the consequences don't disappear. They only shift from the upper levels to the lower ones, like a snowball rolling down a slope, growing larger as it goes. And the floor that has to bear the brunt directly is not the casino or the board of directors, but the workforce itself, from seasonal employees to middle management positions, who are facing the harshest reality. Sonia Owen's story is a typical example. She has lived in Vegas for 8 years and has been with a casino for over a year. Previously, Sonia consistently had 3 to 5 shifts per week, with enough income to manage her life. But for the past 2 months, she's had almost no cases, meaning she's lost nearly all her income and is under severe financial pressure. And sadly, this isn't the first time she's found herself in this situation. According to statistics from LVCVA, the number of visitors to Vegas has declined for 7 consecutive months, leading to a series of service businesses being forced to close or reduce staff. The main reason comes from rising costs, from accommodation and meals to basic services on the Strip. A simple meal with 2 portions of potatoes and 2 cups of beer can also become an expense that makes many tourists hesitate. Additionally, immigration and visa policies, along with political tensions, further make international visitors feel excluded from the game. The widespread impact wasn't limited to permanent employees. Even waiters and room cleaners were affected, with many losing their jobs for weeks on end. Vegas seems to have forgotten that they are the invisible gears that run the dream machine, creating the magic of this city. Without them, the Strip might still be lit up, but it would be like Disneyland without supporting characters like Goofy or Olaf. Not central, but without them, the story wouldn't be complete. Vegas may still be known as the city that never sleeps, but tonight, it's not awake because of parties or bright lights. It's awake because of silent worries, next week's work schedule, this month's bills, and an increasingly unpredictable future. If even the city once considered a symbol of joy and opportunity is now mired in anxieties, where else can the American dream exist? And if the people who make that dream happen are forced to leave the stage, will the remaining lights on the strip still be enough to call it Vegas? Stepping into a Las Vegas hotel in 2025, many might mistake it for a haunted house. After a summer with few visitors, the space that was once bustling and noisy suddenly became eerily desolate and empty. Imagine this. You and your husband travel from Canada to Vegas to celebrate your wedding anniversary, despite the entry and visa barriers. On the booking app, the price showed $90, which seemed like a reasonable option. But when I got to the check-in counter, the bill suddenly ballooned to $200 due to all sorts of hidden fees. Airfare is already expensive, and now with hotel costs increasing, plus additional fees, the financial plan for the trip has become unattainable. Finally, you're forced to cancel your room, buy a ticket back home, and vow never to set foot in Vegas again, because just one wild night here is enough to mortgage your future. According to Travel Weekly, hotels in Vegas, which were once packed with tourists, are now experiencing one of the strongest periods of performance decline among US hotel markets in the summer of 2025. Although the facade was still lit, inside, the empty rooms and silent corridors were the clearest evidence of a city gradually losing its inherent appeal. From the outside, the hotels in Vegas still shine brightly, but stepping inside reveals a concerning emptiness. Data from June 2025 shows that the number of visitors was only about 3.095 million, a decrease of 11.3% compared to the same period last year. Room occupancy also dropped to 78.7%, a rarely seen low figure for a city once dubbed the city that never sleeps. The main reason, once again, is still price. The ever-increasing costs of accommodation, food, and services are becoming an invisible barrier, preventing tourists from returning to seek the dreams they once had. Even big names like MGM and Caesars have had to raise the white flag in the face of customer exodus, offering large incentive packages such as 20% off early bookings or even temporarily waiving resort fees altogether. However, those moves still don't seem to be enough. In the minds of many tourists, Vegas is now associated with the feeling that no matter how careful you are, you'll get ripped off. And once trust is broken, incentives are just a thin coat of paint over a cracked wall, making it difficult to repair the lost experience. The consequences don't stop with tourists. A series of hotel employees are having their working hours cut, falling into a state of hidden unemployment, which has led to a serious decline in their income. Federal policies like the No Tax on Tips Act partially help workers keep more of their tips, but when room occupancy plummets and there are fewer and fewer guests, there aren't many tips left to keep anyway. Today's image of Vegas is like a grand American stage after the show ends. The lights are still on, but the empty rows of seats stretch out like a reminder of the city's exhaustion. Empty hotels are not just a matter of economic figures. They are a symbol of a Las Vegas that is gradually losing its inherent vitality. With trust gone and empty rooms becoming the new normal, does Vegas have any way to win back the hearts of tourists? And if a city that once thrived on crowds is now silent, will Vegas still be Vegas, or just the empty shell of a faded dream? A hotel bill, at first glance, appears to be just numbers evenly printed on a white paper background. But as your eyes scroll down each line, the feeling begins to weigh you down. Resort fee, parking, convenience charge, service. The dream of a Vegas getaway suddenly became confined to tiny lines of text where happy memories were replaced by frustration. It's not just about a few extra dollars in fees, but a feeling of being legally ambushed right in the middle of the vacation you were so eagerly looking forward to. The truth is, local authorities and the tourism industry have had to acknowledge this setback. According to the June 2025 report by the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority, LVCVA, the number of visitors to Vegas reached only about 3.1 million, a decrease of 11.3% compared to the same period last year. Weekend occupancy, traditionally the city's golden hour, decreased by 3.7 percentage points, while passenger traffic through Harry Reid International Airport also fell by 6.3% compared to the previous year. These are unmistakable signs. When festival weekends are empty, it means the Vegas machine is losing momentum. The reason is not hard to see. Vegas has become notorious for fees on fees, what travel forums call the resort fee trap. What seems like a simple breakfast for two can cost nearly $100 with taxes and fees included, leaving customers feeling disappointed. The middle-class Americans, who were the backbone of Vegas for decades, are now reacting strongly. On social media, videos complaining about hotel bills, food, or even bottles of water from the minibar have gone viral with millions of views, creating a soft but persistent boycott. A frequently told story is about a 58-year-old veteran who returned to Vegas with his wife to celebrate their wedding anniversary. When he looked at the final bill, he just shook his head. "This place isn't for us anymore." The saying is short, but it leaves behind many layers of meaning. It wasn't just the disappointment of one family, but a wake-up call for an entire city. When the loyal customer base turned away, Vegas lost the very heart that had sustained it. What's noteworthy is that this outrage isn't limited to the realm of consumption. It has touched upon trust. Once customers believe Vegas is synonymous with pickpocketing, they will seek other options. The Caribbean, Mexico, and even domestic markets like Florida have become alternative destinations. Vegas, which built its brand on the promise of all-inclusive value, is now digging its own grave by letting bills become a nightmare. However, while the business formula may change, the bigger challenge remains restoring trust. Because Vegas doesn't just sell hotel rooms or games, it sells the experience of an American dream. When that dream becomes a stack of receipts, no magic can hide the emptiness. A major brand in the travel expense management industry recently launched an initiative providing tools to help customers, especially retirees, easily compare actual costs before booking a trip. Instead of passively accepting unexpected bills, they are equipped with bill-reading skills to avoid falling into price traps. That could be the direction Las Vegas needs to learn from. Transparency, fairness, and putting the customer experience first. Is a vacation still worth it when the feeling of being legally ripped off creeps into every bill? And will this anger be fleeting, or will it become a permanent goodbye to Vegas? Split screen. On the left is a service employee's pay stub, showing the number $12 per hour. On the right is the message rent due $1,380. Those two numbers stand side by side but never meet. That is the paradox of Las Vegas today. A city that shines brightly with neon lights, yet leaves its workforce, the people who keep the wheels turning, struggling in the darkness of scarcity. From July 1st, 2024, the minimum wage in Nevada will be raised to $12 per hour, and the previously existing two-tiered wage structure will be eliminated. This is a step forward on paper, but in reality, it reveals a harsh truth. That salary is unlikely to cover the ever-increasing cost of living in a service-based city. The story doesn't end with numbers. Imagine the life of a 48-year-old waitress, a single mother of two children. Every day, she has to choose between buying medicine for her child or getting gas to make it to her shift on time. The brief statement, "I choose between my child's medicine and gas money," encapsulates the helplessness experienced by thousands of Vegas workers. This is not just a personal tragedy, but a piece of the larger picture of injustice in the distribution of benefits. The most visible symbol of this rupture is the image of tents springing up at the foot of giant casino billboards. The dazzling light above flaunted luxury, while right below on the ground, people crammed into makeshift tents. In fact, there were nights when police cars drove around, but they just passed by as if deliberately avoiding the area. It felt as if the entire society had turned its back on those who had once built that glittering tower. Faced with this situation, some experts propose more practical solutions than flowery slogans. This could include piloting worker housing near the Strip to reduce commuting costs and providing night shift support vouchers for service industry workers. When combined with community programs, these measures not only increase real income, but also send a message that Vegas still cares about the very people who make up its soul. A major brand in the affordable housing sector recently committed to investing in pilot projects for service worker housing in tourist cities, including Las Vegas. If implemented effectively, this could be the first step in helping to mend the trust gap among those who are being left behind after the spotlight fades. From a single neighborhood to an entire nation, the Vegas story is revealing a broader truth. As wealth concentrates at the top, the foundation will begin to crack. And if not repaired in time, that crack could cause the entire structure to collapse. What is the point of a city if the people who built it are not able to live in it? And as most of the benefits flow to the top, how long can the cracks in the foundation silently extend before everything collapses? From afar, Vegas still sparkles like a symbol of luxury. But as you get closer, the cracks become clear, reflecting not just a city, but an entire nation facing fissures in its faith and consumption. According to official data from the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority, LVCVA, visitor numbers to Vegas decreased by 7.3% in the first half of 2025 compared to the same period last year. The average room rate, ADR, was only $85.24, down 5.5%. Revenue per available room, RevPAR, also decreased by as much as 7.8%. Those numbers are not just dry statistics, but a sign of a storm brewing in the American entertainment consumption barometer. When Vegas, a tourism hub that thrives on the boom of mass spending, gradually declines, it's not just a problem for Nevada. It's a mirror reflecting the entire American economy in a fragile state. From a broader perspective, Vegas is not a unique case. In California, Policy AB 1482 has been implemented to limit annual rent increases and establish a just cause requirement for evictions. This is an effort to retain the service workforce amid soaring urban costs. The lessons from Los Angeles or San Francisco show that retaining workers within the city is a prerequisite for maintaining urban vitality. Otherwise, entertainment cities will fall into a paradox. The center will be bright, but lack operators. The solution cannot only lie in short-term promotional packages. Vegas needs a restructuring of trust. That's about mandatory price transparency, displaying the all-in cost instead of scattering hidden fees. That's about planning housing for workers right near the center, so they don't have to spend half their salary on rent. It also includes subsidies for night shift transportation to ensure the workforce can stay employed. Other cities have done it, and Vegas can't keep sleeping in artificial light forever. Do we still want to look at ourselves in this cracked mirror? And how many other entertainment cities across the US are on the same slippery slope that Vegas slid down? Imagine a time-lapse video between 2 points in time. In 2025, the Strip is still lit up but sparsely populated, with room rate boards printed in small print and cluttered with hidden fees. Then jump to 2030. It's still Vegas, but completely different. Crowded pedestrian streets, hotel price boards clearly displaying all in, and visitors entering with a sense of security instead of suspicion. Two contrasting images, like two paths into the future that Vegas is forced to choose. In the darkest scenario, the city could become a ghost town luxury, where revenue primarily comes from the ultra-wealthy, but occupancy rates are low and unsustainable. The surrounding neighborhoods became unfamiliar, the community was divided, and public trust continued to erode. This is a risky path, as Vegas loses the soul that once made it America's national playground. Another, more feasible but courageous scenario is to be reborn through transparency. Commitment to all-in pricing, meaning customers know the total cost immediately upon booking, rather than being surprised by resort fees or parking charges. Hotels can implement value lanes, special off-season packages, to attract middle-class guests back. Additionally, building or linking housing for workers right next to the service corridors on the Strip will help the workforce stay put instead of having to migrate far away. At the policy level, Vegas can learn from California. AB 1482 sets a rent increase cap of only 5% plus CPI, or a maximum of 10% per year, along with a just cause mechanism to limit evictions. If piloted in a tourist city, this policy could retain service workers within the city centre. Because an entertainment city cannot function if waiters, housekeepers, or taxi drivers are forced to live tens of miles away. The future of Vegas isn't just an internal matter. It's also tied to the beliefs of older American tourists who once considered Vegas a lifelong memory. To win them back, Vegas needs to become a place that is worth the price, worry-free, safe. A major organization in the field of elderly support and healthcare has launched a campaign to help visitors understand how to read hotel bills, including a transparent cost checklist. If integrated, this could be the bridge for Vegas to rebuild trust with the generation that once placed their hopes in it. As the neon lights still glow brightly while the crowds thin, Las Vegas loses not only its vibrancy, it also loses a part of its collective memory of carefree days, holidays that weren't overly luxurious, but were enough to keep a smile on your face. Now, bills are longer than joy, work shifts are shorter than sleep, rooms are lit but empty. All of this has come together to form a fractured picture. It's a reminder that external light cannot hide the silent cracks within. But amidst that exhaustion, there are still signs pointing towards a different path. Vegas can be reborn if it knows how to start with the simplest thing: transparency. Transparency in pricing, in the treatment of workers, and in the commitment to preserve what once made up the city's soul. Because sometimes, trust only needs a small promise, a practical action, to be rebuilt from the ruins. If happy memories have been replaced by hidden fee receipts, is there anything strong enough to make tourists trust and return? How long can a city shine if the very people who built it no longer have the strength to stay? And if Vegas is America's cracked mirror, will each of us choose to mend it or turn away? If you find this story resonates with your own experiences, please like and share it so that more people can reflect on it, and subscribe to the channel to join us in the next episodes, where we continue to search for the missing pieces to heal not only a city, but perhaps also faith in a shared dream. The content in this video is for informational and analytical purposes only, and is not an absolute affirmation of any event, individual, or organization. The data and evidence are compiled from public official sources available at the time of production and may change over time. We are not responsible for any financial, travel, or investment decisions made based on the information in this video. Viewers are encouraged to do their own research from official sources before making any decisions.